In 2025, genres that once felt like they were fading from the spotlight are having surprising comebacks. In this video, we look at 8 music genres that are having a revival in 2025. R&B. R&B has always been a core pillar of popular music, but in recent years, its mainstream dominance has been fading as pop, hip-hop, and electronic music were way more popular. In 2025, however, there is a clear renewed focus on soulful production and nuanced songwriting, hallmarks of classic R&B. This revival feels rooted in nostalgia. A few breakthrough songs are reminding us what authentic soulful R&B sounds like, and they're doing it on the biggest stage. Folded by Kehlani was released on June 11, 2025, and it is a classic emotional R&B ballad with lush instrumentation, strings, guitars, and drums that serves as a backdrop for Kehlani's raw voice. The song has struck a chord, becoming Kehlani's first ever top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 7. Critically, it has been praised for its vulnerability in the way it revisits classic R&B themes, and has now been nominated for multiple Grammys. Mutts by Leon Thomas was also another R&B hit this year, a slightly different flavor of R&B as it leans into alternative soul. Released in August 2024, it slowly surged in 2025 and became Leon Thomas's first top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 8. The song's production is layered but restrained, letting his vocals shine. He finally got his moment this year after a long journey that started on Nickelodeon, even getting nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys. Even Justin Bieber's new album Swag leans into R&B with personal lyricism and soulful vocals. Daisies, the lead single, debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and Yukon was another hit from the album, charting at number 17 on the Hot 100. With the new Summer Walker album also getting a lot of attention, R&B is in a very good place. The popular songs from the genre have been really good this year, and that has led to its revival. K-pop. K-pop has been globally dominant for years, but 2025 marks a new kind of revival, one that appeals more to the US market. Two of the most compelling examples right now are Cat's Eye, a real girl group signed by Hype, and the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack, tied to the hugely successful Netflix animated film. These aren't your typical idol debuts, they are part of a larger cultural movement. The K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack was one of the biggest albums of the year, as multiple songs from the album have charted high. Golden by Huntrix reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, a historic achievement for a soundtrack song from an animated film since Encanto. Its success signals just how powerful K-pop has become. The trio that performed the song, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Rayami, were unknown artists, but the song has brought them to superstardom. Your Idol by Saja Boys also hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 from the album, and Soda Pop from the Saja Boys was another hit, going on to peak in the top 3 of the Billboard Hot 100. It is more of a bubblegum dance pop track that is fun, bright, and very radio friendly. Then How It's Done by Huntrix also hit the top 10, going on to peak at number 8. In addition to the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack, Cat's Eye made their mark this year as their 2025 singles charted high. Gnarly, released on April 30, marked their first entry on the Hot 100, going on to peak at number 90. While it was more hyperpop and experimental than traditional K-pop, it's in that idol realm. Then their song Gabriella started climbing the charts, now peaking at number 33 on the Hot 100. The group formed through a 2023 reality competition series Dream Academy, with members from all over the world, went on to become one of the biggest new acts of this year. This K-pop revival is about embedding the genre in the US market, and that has been very successful in 2025. West Coast rap. While West Coast rap has never fully gone away, 2025 marks a strong revival of its classic G-Funk inspired energy through Kendrick Lamar's GNX era. The album was critically acclaimed, and fans liked the return to Kendrick's roots. It was released in late 2024 and came back to the top of the Billboard 200 in March 2025, demonstrating that this revival isn't just cultural, it was commercially dominant. The album has been described as a reimagination of West Coast hip-hop, combining the classic hyphy bounce with production from longtime collaborators and newer voices. On the Billboard Hot 100 front, one of the album's standout tracks was Luther with SZA, which had more of an R&B sound. It had a dominant year, staying at the top spot for 13 weeks, but it didn't fit in with the prevailing sound of the album. Kendrick's Super Bowl performance only helped the album, with TV Off becoming a huge hit, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Another song that became a hit from the album was Peekaboo with AZ Chike, released to US rhythmic radio in early 2025. While it may not have charted as high as Luther, peaking at number 13 is stylistically significant. Its production features sparse chords and a skeletal and bouncy bass line, giving that classic G-funk feeling. GNX is one of the best-selling albums of 2025 and was the big reason for the West Coast rap renaissance. Indie pop. One of the most noticeable trends in 2025 is the indie pop revival, led by emerging artists who blend emotional songwriting with lo-fi textures and soft vocals. Among these breakout voices is Somber, a 20-year-old singer-producer whose sound channels nostalgia, but his shows channel brain rot. Somber's Back to Friends has become a breakout track on the Billboard Hot 100. It has now peaked at number 11, marking Somber's first appearance on the chart, and it has now accumulated more than 1.1 billion streams on Spotify in a matter of months. He then followed it up with another hit, Undressed, which went on to peak at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100. He didn't stop there. He then scored another hit, 12 to 12, which is still rising on the Billboard Hot 100, charting at number 41. These chart moves showed not just a niche revival, but a mainstream crossover. Indie pop is no longer confined to streaming playlists or subgenre charts. Instead, it's earning a lot of attention from the new generation. The success of Somber's singles shows that listeners are embracing a softer, more introspective pop sound again. Country rap. Country rap, the fusion of southern hip-hop rhythms with country instrumentation and vocals, has been around for a while, but in 2025, it's experiencing a fresh resurgence. The genre is no longer underground. It is crossing over in a big way on the mainstream charts again. This revival is being fueled by artists willing to blend the trending country sound with modern trap beats, creating a sound that appeals to both country fans and hip-hop audiences. With Shaboozie's A Bar song Tipsy, which interpolated a 2000s rap hit, fused the genres and became one of the biggest songs last year that reignited everything. One of the leaders in the revival this year is Big X The Plug, an artist that has leaned into the country rap hybrid with his new album. In April 2025, he released All the Way featuring Bailey Zimmerman, which was a bold foray into country-leaning music. The song combined his signature sound with a smooth country hook. The song peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it a massive mainstream breakthrough for him. He didn't stop there. He followed it up with Home with Shaboozie, which peaked at number 77, and with Hell at Night with Ella Langley, which climbed to number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. The success of Big X The Plug signals more than just a one-off trend. It suggests that the barrier between country and rap is dismantling in a way that we haven't fully seen before. By collaborating with a mainstream country artist, he is bridging two major music worlds. This kind of cross-genre collaboration not only introduces rap fans to country sounds, but also brings hip-hop back to the charts after a rough year for the genre. Alternative rock. Alongside indie pop, alternative rock, especially legacy tracks, are experiencing a powerful resurgence in 2025, driven in large part by streaming, nostalgia, and social media trends. The Goo Goo Dolls' Iris, which was released in 1998, has been getting a lot of streams recently. It is climbing multiple Billboard charts again, and is currently at number 13 on the Spotify charts. This resurgence is fueled by TikTok virality, younger listeners discovering the song. That shows that alternative rock from the 90s still resonates deeply, finding new life in a modern streaming era. Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood reached another level in this decade, and is still sustaining streaming success. Around 13 years since its release, it has now crossed 4.1 billion total streams on Spotify, which makes it one of the biggest songs on the platform. In recent weeks, Feel Good Inc. by the Gorillaz has also been a part of this alt-rock revival. On Spotify, the song is experiencing record daily streams and is at number 54 on the Spotify charts. This resurgence is driven by renewed interest because of Fortnite and TikTok. Though it hasn't re-entered the Billboard Hot 100 in 2025, it is in that trend of alternative rock classics, getting a lot of attention again. These songs appeal to both older fans who remember the originals and younger listeners who listen to them for the first time, creating a broad base. They are timeless classics that are doing way better than new songs. Hard rock and metal. Over the past few years, rock and metal have felt like background genres in the streaming era, dominated by pop and hip-hop. But in 2025, there are strong signals that a hard rock metal resurgence, led by bands like Ghost and Sleep Token, whose streaming power and chart successes are reigniting interest in the genre. Ghost, a theatrical Swedish rock band, made history in 2025 when their album Skeletor debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200. This was not just a win for them, but a major moment for hard rock, getting them their best sales week ever. While Skeletor didn't produce major singles, the band's crossover into the mainstream charts showed the renewed popularity of the genre. It brought hard rock back into the spotlight. Then there was Sleep Token, a controversial band known for blending progressive metal and ambient sounds. Their 2025 album, Even in Arcadia, made waves, not just for its concept, but for its commercial impact, with all 10 songs from the album simultaneously landing on the Billboard Hot 100. The album debuted on #1 on the albums chart, selling 127,000 units in its first week. That's monumental for a metal act in the streaming era, typically reserved for major pop or hip-hop releases. On top of that, Sleep Token delivered the biggest streaming week from the genre. A standout single from the album was Caramel, which debuted on #34 on the Billboard Hot 100. While rock's presence on the mainstream charts has been declining for years, Sleep Token's sweep shows how the genre is starting to adapt to the streaming platforms. Even though purists hate the band, they brought the genre to the mainstream this year. Salsa. After the dominance of reggaeton in recent years, this year there has been a resurgence of Latin roots music, especially salsa and plena. Thanks largely to Bad Bunny, these sounds are breaking into the mainstream again, not just as niche or nostalgic tracks, but as major charting hits. Bad Bunny's new album Debí Tirar Más Fotos arrived in early 2025 and intentionally leaned into his Puerto Rican roots. The album is a tapestry of plena, Puerto Rican sound, salsa, bolero, and more. Media outlets and critics have noted that it felt like a homecoming, musically and spiritually. Baile Inolvidable, one of the standout tracks from the album, was a salsa song released in January 2025. The song's reflection on past love, blending traditional brass, percussions, and salsa rhythms, became very successful. It charted at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100, showing the genre's ability to hold its own in today's streaming era. Debí Tirar Más Fotos has been one of the most successful albums to come out this year, selling around 2.1 million units in the US and accumulating 7.6 billion Spotify streams. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl halftime show next year, so his album will get renewed attention. While the album may not be salsa in its purest traditional sense, it is part of the same cultural wave, Latin artists leaning into heritage, bringing old school rhythms to the charts. Which music genres that are having a revival in 2025 did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.